G'day guys, Phil here from Dunk Factory Australia. Today I'm bringing you part 2 of my June PSA grade submission video. Now in part 1 we looked at the first 6 of 12 cards that I submitted with PSA. So today we're going to be looking at the second 6 out of those 12 cards. These 6 cards today have higher potential returns than all of the 6 cards in the first video. So without further ado, sit back and relax, and we're going to have a look at the cards right now. Okay, before we get into the cards, I'd just like to say, if you love this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It costs you nothing, and it will mean a lot to me and the channel to help us grow. So now that's out of the way, let's get in and have a look at the first card. Okay guys, the first card we're going to look at is the 1992 Topps Stadium Club Michael Jordan Beam Team. Now this card is one of Jordan's most iconic early 90s cards. As you can see here, as per the last cards, the rate of growth is just consistent, steady climb. Jordan's market at the moment is going gangbusters, and if you're in this market, it's a great time to sit and hold on some of these cards. Now, this particular card I got in at a really good time at $662. You can see now the current price is around a little bit over $1,400. So I've got around an $800 profit on that card since purchasing. So let's have a really quick look at the condition. Now, the biggest problem with this card is the centering, and it's quite obvious here. We've got a little bit of an issue left to right. We can see how narrow that this point is here compared to the width on this. Now, I have seen PSA 10s with this sort of centering, but I don't believe in today's current grading standards we're going to get away with that. The rest of the card does look pretty good. The back is really prone to chipping with the full black backing. So as you can see on this one, without getting too carried away, it does look fairly clean. Now, I don't for any moment think this is going to be a PSA 10. I'm really hopeful maybe we can get a PSA 8 on this. Okay, so we can see here we've got a PSA 8 right here. Let's go into the pop. Quite a high population, this card, for such a high demand card. There is quite a lot of them out there. But let's have a quick look at the card itself. Now, we've got almost 300 gems at a rate of 4.5%. So not super high amount of PSA 10s, but we do have a 6,500 graded copies. So there are quite a few out there. It does fetch quite a high price. As you can see as we scroll down, PSA 8, is demanding over $3,000. So I'm all into this card for $660 with a couple of $100 grading fee or a little bit less. Now, I'm probably looking around the $800 mark, a little bit over an $800 investment. Now, realistically, I can get a PSA 6 in this and still come out ahead. Hence why I chose this card as one to send in with the higher grading cost. The PSA 7 I think is my worst case on this, which still gives me about a double up in value, but also puts this beautiful card into a slab. A PSA 8 I think would be my prediction. It is a beautiful copy, barring that minor centering, and I'm hoping that I can achieve an 8. Now, the value of the PSA 10, as you can see, pop 111, which is high population for an expensive card, but that just proves the demand that this card has amongst collectors, $31,000. So absolutely crazy numbers there. We do have a high potential. Maybe we get a 9 at 6.5, but realistically, an 8 is the goal. I take a 7, but I'm really aiming for an 8 on this particular card. Okay, now the second card we're going to have a look at today is another beam team. So this is a 93 beam team the following year. Once you go down here, you can see another just amazingly beautiful graph. So steady, the growth on this card. Now, I'm into this card for $230, which is an absolute steal. The average price now is pushing almost $500, so I've almost doubled my money on my initial investment, which makes paying the higher grading cost, not much of an issue for me. we'll just bang this card into here and we'll bring up some graded copies. There's a graded one there we can use. We're going to go into the pop count now. This card, once again, not super rare. We've got a really low gem rate in the PSA 10 though at 0.91% and only 35 total gems. Now there are 4,000 graded copies available. But have a look at this in a PSA 10. We're talking $53,000. It is a crazy number. Now this card that I have, I forgot to show you. We'll go back and have a look in a minute. You know, I'm thinking a PSA 8. Realistically, I think we will get a PSA 9 on this card. It's an immaculate copy. But let's just say we'll stick to the average and we'll be hoping for a PSA 8 on this at $1,500 return. And you know, I'm $230 plus grading, about $400 into this card I'll be. Essentially I can get a PSA 6 and still flip a profit. So that's the reason, once again, why I chose to send this card in. But the upside on this card, you know, $4,000 for a 9 and $53,000 for a PSA 10 is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Now let's just go back in. I forgot to show you. Let's just go back in and have a really quick look at my copy, because I'm not going to zoom in. I don't want to sort of bugger up the screen here, but if you have a look at this card in the flesh, I'm sorry I didn't get some better photos before submitting it, or you know, some film of me holding the card. But this card is immaculate. It's absolutely immaculate. As you can see in the photo, there's not much wrong with it to the naked eye. Now, when you look at the back, once again, notorious with the black border or the black backing, that you're going to get those marks. But this card, edges and corners, is an immaculate copy. I'm really hopeful that this card could be an outside chance for a 10. Look, I don't think it's going to be, based on the fact that there's just not that many of them around. But this is one of my biggest hopes for a PSA 10. And at $53,000, you can understand my excitement when I'm going to get this grade reveal back. I'm going to do a grade reveal video on all of these cards when they come back. And, I mean, you're going to see it first with me. We're going to see it for the first time together. Fingers crossed that we can get a 10 on this. I'm really hopeful for a 9. I'll take an 8. But I really think that this card, if I had to predict, this card should be a 9 or better. Now, the third card we're going to look at is the Michael Jordan Topps Stadium Club 94-95 Warp Speed. Now, this is one of Jordan's most beautiful inserts from the 90s, and also really expensive and rare in a high grade. Now, this copy I've got, let's have a look at it here. If I run my arrow, follow me down here, you see this print line. I've got a really nasty print line through this card, so I know this is not going to be a 9 or a 10 or potentially even an 8. It could even go a lot lower than a 7. I'm going to be aiming for a 7 on this card because the rest of the card is in really good nick. The back, once again, quite prone to the chipping. We do see some minor chipping down the bottom here. But all in all, this card's in pretty good condition, bar that print line. So I picked this card up for $500. It's currently now running around the around the $1,000-$1,200 mark raw. So yeah, look, this is probably one that I want to get in a slab. I'm not expecting it to grade super high, but I do hope that I don't get smashed. Let's have a look at this card. PSA 10, it's a pop 50. So not a very common card, and definitely going to fetch a price, as you'll see when we get down a little bit lower here. You're going to be looking around the $37,000 for a PSA 10. Like I said, this card, I'm not hopeful that this card will grade too well, but even right the way down to a PSA 6, we're still getting $800. So if I can scrounge together a 6, I'm still going to come out marginally ahead. Hence why I took the punt on putting this card in maybe at a higher rate than it should be. But if I can get a PSA 7, you know, that's quite a nice little $300 or $400 profit. If I get a 6, I'll probably sell it, to be honest, and try to upgrade. But this is just a card that I want in my collection in a slab. It's all right to have the raw copy. It's beautiful to look at, but that print line does concern me. once again, you'll see it first when I see it. So fingers crossed on that one for me. I think I might get a bit of a shock on that card when it returns, but it is what it is. I just need a couple of decent cards to return, and I'm well ahead. So if I lose on that one, so be it. Now the next card we're going to look at is the 1995 Skybox International Intense. Now I'm into this card for $330, currently selling for around $720. So once again, over doubled, consistent growth here over the last 3 months. Now this card is an immaculate copy. These cards aren't super rare to find in high grades. They do grade pretty well. I believe they have a high percentage, but this card, to my eye, is almost perfect. This is a card I'm hopeful I'm going to get a 10. It's one that I really want to see a minimum of a 9, but I'm going to be a little bit upset if I don't get a 10 on this card. As you can see, the back being all dark, all black and red, hard to get a good grade on. But this card, as best you can see in this photo, it is immaculate. Take my word for it. We'll just go in and have a look at the values of this card in a PSA slab. So here we are here in a PSA. We're looking at 1,325 total gems at a rate of 30%. So this is why I'm confident that I'm going to grade well in this. Now, as you can see here, PSA 9's just sold for $2,100, almost $2,200, and that's the value on a PSA 9. PSA 10, it is a high pop. We're looking at around $5,500. Now that I believe is achievable. I think the PSA 10 is within reach on this card. That'll be a big jackpot if we can hit it. But anything above an 8 gives me a good return. But I'm really hopeful this one, if I have to predict, will be a 9 or a 10. So this is one of my high hope cards, along with the Beam Team, the 93 Beam Team. But that's the next card, the 1994 Emotion Intense Michael Jordan. Another beautiful card to have in hand. As all of these cards are, we're getting down to the pointy end now. I've got 2 more to go. Now these are probably the 2 biggest cards. If you can score a high grade. The next card's the 1996-97 Skybox Premium Michael Jordan Net Sets. Now this card, I'll be the first to admit, is not in PSA 10 condition, but still worth sending away, as it is in somewhat decent condition. I'm into this card for $426. Currently raw, we're sitting at around $831. You can see the steady growth here on this card again. Now let's get this up, and we're going to have a look at the PSA prices. Okay, so here it is. This card is a gem rate of only 4.9%, only 266 total in population. So we've got 13 gems. So it is a really super rare card to get. Now, I think this is one of the most undervalued cards in Jordan's catalogue. We're looking at a PSA 10 Pop 13 with only 266 total graded, and it's only $24,500. I think that's an absolute crazy number. But realistically, a 10's out of reach for me. 9 is probably out of reach at $4,500. I'm sort of sitting somewhere around the 7s and the 8s. I believe my card will probably get a 7. I'm hopeful for an 8. So look, it's just a very rare card. There's not many of them graded, and I think this is one of his best long-term growth cards. If you can find a copy of this in a PSA 8 or a PSA 9 slab, I would be getting hold of it. I'd be putting it away for your kids and your future family. This is a card that I think will continue to go up and up and up in value. And I've actually been branching out and buying a few other players in this set, such as Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, etc. So that's the 5th card in today's video, the 1996 Skybox Premium Net Set. Now, the last and final card in today's video, as promised, is a banger. It's a dual game-worn patch of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Now, this patch here, I picked up on eBay for around the $1,000 mark, marginally, maybe just under $1,000. Let's have a look, $935. Look, I'm not sure as though this is perfect. That maybe has some minor corner wear, edge wear. But all in all, this card is a nice copy. It's always going to hold demand because it has Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And I believe the patch used on this particular card is from an all-star game. So, you know, put all those things into place. And I think this is a card that, you know, it's only going to go up in value. Okay, so that took a little bit of finding. Here's the card here. We've got only 4 PSA 10s, only 4 gems at a 20% rate, only 21 in population. So not a super easy card to come across. Certainly not in a PSA slab. Now let's just scroll down to the numbers, what we all want to look at. In a PSA 10, we're looking at around $23,000. A PSA 8 takes you down to around $2,700. Now we can see here we've got a low PSA 9 value compared to either side of it. Now that would only be because of when it was last sold. So if you look here, it was last sold in March 2022. So what's that, 4 years ago? We haven't had a sale since. Normally quite often card data will estimate a value, but when we have a look here, even the PSA 8 was last sold in July 2024, so 2 years ago, for $1,500. So that's just an estimated value now at 27. Who knows what this card could bring at auction in the current market. You know, there's some big collectors out there for Jordan and for Kobe Bryant. So when you put both of these guys and a patch on the same card, really the sky's the limit. I think, let's have a look at the PSA 10. Now that was, you know, that last sold in August 2025 for $15,000, and card ladder is now predicting that is worth $23,000. If this come to market again, pop 4, I don't reckon it would sell for $23,000. I think you get a couple of bidders going for it, and I think you'll see it go higher than that. But anyway, that's the last card in the grade submission. I was lucky to pick this card up raw. It looked in very clean condition. And I bit the bullet. It was a lot of money for me to spend back then. The card hadn't done much. It hadn't grown the way it has. So I took the chance. It's paid off. And now I'm going to send it away for grading. And we're going to see what it comes back at. So let's just go back really quickly, recap on these 6 cards. We've got the 92 Michael Jordan Beam Team, the 93 Michael Jordan Beam Team, and this is my biggest chance out of the 12 cards for a massive return. This is, in my opinion, a big chance at a 10, and it's a $53,000 card in a 10. So please, guys, fingers crossed for me on that one. We've got the Michael Jordan 95 Skybox Intent and the 94-95 Stadium Club Warp Speed. 2 beautiful cards. Then we go up to one of the rarer cards around, and I suggest you keep on the hunt for one of these, because if they come up, there's something that you want to be able to grab and put them away. This is a growth card, a long-term growth card in my opinion. It's a 96-97 Skybox Premium net sets. And then of course, the jewel in the crown, the game-worn all-star dual uniforms, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, dual patch from 2003 Upper Deck, Finite Elements. So that's it for the cards today. Okay guys, that wraps up the second part of my grade submission video for June 2026. We've just looked at the second 6 cards of my 12 card submission. We'll be getting a PSA grade reveal straight up as soon as the cards hit our shores back here in Tasmania, and I will wait to open them until I'm on the camera with you guys, so you'll be seeing them with me firsthand, my reaction, and hopefully we can get a couple of big cards. Now, in the comments below, tell me, do you think we're going to get any PSA 10s in this 6 or the last 6 from part 1? If you haven't watched part 1, jump over and check that out now. And once again, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. And until next time, I want to thank you for watching. Take care and happy collecting.